Well, hello, everybody. It is Dennis and Andy with your movie review for the week before Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Last night, we went and saw The Order, based on a true story starring Jude Law and that guy that's playing Lex Luthor. What's this movie about, Dennis?
Wow. The movie is about a series of bank robberies and car heists that frightens communities in the Pacific Northwest. Yet a lone FBI agent believes that the crimes were not the work of financially motivated criminals, but rather a group of dangerous domestic terrorists.
Oh, and Jude Law plays the FBI agent. Um, so out of the gate, I thought Jude Law did a great job. I've always liked him as an actor. Uh, you know, I thought he delivered a great job. The movie, I thought, and we didn't talk about it after it was over. I liked it. I thought it was a little slow paced throughout. It started that way, and I'm like, well, I'm sure it'll pick up. I mean, I guess it did in the last 15, 20 minutes.
Yep. No,
um,
I kind of agree with you with that. This movie's strengths are the main stars. Jude Law is the FBI man, and Ty Sheridan, he plays a deputy sheriff, and he who's very green, but he
yes.
also knows all the locals. He grew up there, and the two of them together need to uncover this, and they play very well off one another, and it that makes it good. The standout to me was Nicholas Holt, who basically plays the leader of this group. And the looks of him, it was so shocking. You're right. I didn't get to tell you this. As soon as they showed him on screen, he looked like Tom Skerritt from MASH. He looks identical to him. It wasn't even close. I'd swear to God they were related. And he's
Really?
got the same charisma that Tom Skerritt did. And you can see this throughout, and it's alluded to in the movie that the reason the splinter cell breaks off is because he's able to bring the people over, and he's tired of talking and wants to go forward and
Right.
do things and make action following the blueprints of the diaries that he's been reading and basically brainwashing the kids with.
Yeah, and that
They're
that
great.
that was it. Like, he breaks off from the other group because the other group is like, "Look, slow your roll. In a few years, we're building this. We'll have people in Congress, and government and stuff, and this, Bob is who he plays, doesn't wanna wait." And he's reading, uh, this book called The Dennis Turner Diaries, and it's kind of a blueprint for uh rising up. There's like six key facts in it, and it's just called The Turner Diaries. I added Dennis's name. I mean, it is down, it came down. Dennis told me it came down from his family. In fact, a lot of the scenes with Nicholas Holt and his Aryan Brotherhood, Dennis leaned over and was like, my God, it feels like I'm watching a family reunion. And I was like, I would keep that quiet.
The
um
funny thing is, Andy's cracking these jokes during the movie.
Well, because you and I were the only ones in the theater, so whenever I
Until
see
the
that
end, where
happen,
the homeless man came in and
well, that was
decided
midway
to
through.
crash out on the floor.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. A homeless dude came in midway through, and and I are like, "That guy has a lot of stuff with him to watch a movie," and he just crashes out, and I'm like, "How'd this guy even get in?" Anyhow, back to the movie. Um, yeah, I mean, I think one of the problems I had with it was it just seemed like they left stuff on maybe the editing floor of, like, piecing it together better. Does that make sense to you? Like, it just seemed like there were these jumps and sequences, and I'm like, "Wait, it seems like there's a piece that should be slid right in the middle here of from here to this jump they made that might make clear things up."
Yeah, no, I agree. It was good, and
And this takes place in the early 80s,
Yeah, but there were
1983,
definitely
84.
spots where, this is just under 2 hours, 156, and it feels like, maybe 5 minutes worth. They were little things, but it kind of interrupted the continuity and it just didn't flow. It was good enough because, again, this movie, the story was fine. It's based off of real, real happenings, and I know Andy likes true
I
crime
do. I
stuff.
love true stories like this because this is 1983, 84. I was 13 years old. I had no idea this crap was going on. I mean, it does enlighten you to the fact of how just gross groups like this are. I mean, as a kid growing up in the 80s, I, I just, like I said, I was 13. I just never imagined there were people like this. I mean, you heard about the KKK and those scumbags, but this group, which to me, I just don't even understand a distinction. I mean, I'm like, all these scumbags are the same. I mean, they had their Nazi flags up and all this Aryan crap and whatnot. And it's really gross. And they did a good job getting that across. But like one of the jumps that I thought, and maybe it was just me, and I want to ask you about this. So they're in Idaho for a bit, and then next thing you know, they're in Seattle. And I'm like, wait a second. It, I thought this group was in Idaho. Now they're in Seattle. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, and you find out that they have like their main compound that they've splintered off from, and apparently they even have backup compounds. So
Yeah.
somehow they've got land, fair amounts of land and farm area and stuff that they're able to do this. But again, like it's not a perfect story. I like I said, I agree. I think they left a little bit on the editing floor, but all in all, you understand what's going
Yeah.
on. You're
Yeah.
able to pick up on it, and the story is good. The ending, not surprising, but again, you aren't expecting twist endings because this really happened. It's like watching the Titanic sink. If you're from that era, you knew something about it. I didn't know the depth of detail or anything about it. There's a relationship to the Oklahoma bomber and stuff like that. That's in there. They're going off the same manual. They do a really nice job of showing you how they're indoctrinating to the kids by reading to him in bed. He's got a little son who's maybe 3, 4, 4 years old. He's helping him shoot a gun and stuff out there and do it. And they do a nice job of bringing you along. But seriously, the stars, the three main stars, are what make this. Their
Yeah.
acting performance were top notch. They sold everything about this movie, and that really is what made The Order a very good watch. Does it need to be watched in the big theater? No, it doesn't have any of the big spectacle, but it really was a good movie. So even if you don't run to the theater to catch this, as soon as it comes on streaming, I would probably tell you to watch it.
Yeah. It is like you said, it is informative. You learn a lot. Um, it's funny, there's this one scene where Jude Law is hunting and Dennis is like, check out that big moose. And I'm like, it's not a moose, Dennis.
Whatever.
What?
And you can't tell the
I'm
difference
like,
between a white-tailed deer, elk, or a moose. Wrong horns there, Andy. Wrong horns.
well, excuse me for growing up in a civilized town and not in the Midwest where I studied the Dennis Turner diaries as my
That's
reading
right.
material.
Then you would have understood how to shoot a gun.
Oh, speaking of, that little kid shoots that gun, and yeah, Nicholas is helping him, but was there lack of recoil on that, or was that just me being picky?
Well, they were using Mac 10, so there is not exactly a huge amount of recoil,
Oh,
but Nicholas Holt definitely was holding that gun from the little kid because there's still some recoil on it. But,
yeah,
think of it like an Uzi. There's not a huge amount of
yeah,
recoil, unlike a good rifle or shotgun.
yeah. All right, well, let's rate this puppy. You go, I believe.
Yep. Um, Overall, I enjoyed it. These are usually not the movies that I jump at. Um, but like I said, I so enjoyed Jude Law's character and Ty Sheridan and There's some funny parts, a few, but mainly they're so serious in how that they have to approach this. They do such a good job, and then Nicholas Hoult, like I said, stole this with his acting performance. I'm giving this a solid 8.0. I liked it way better than I thought I was going to. Highly recommend you guys see this.
Yeah, we're close. I'm giving it a 7.5. Like I said, every time Jude Law was on screen, I was just really, like I said, I've always been impressed with him, and he was just fantastic. Nicholas Hoult was great. I will say, because earlier in the day I saw the Superman trailer, or we both did, and I was like, I kept thinking Lex Luthor. I don't know about you. I doubt he was wearing a wig, but I kept thinking, I wonder if he's wearing a wig because this is maybe around the same time. Maybe he was doing double, you know, I doubt it, but it kind of looked that way. But anyhow, and then, yeah, the other guy, Tyler Sheridan, is that who you said his name was? The
Yeah,
rookie
Ty
cop?
Sheridan.
Ty Sheridan, yeah. He was great. I mean, the whole cast was really good. I give it a 7.5. If you're interested in true stories like this, I think it's one to definitely watch when it goes to streaming. Do we have IMDb and
We
Rotten Tomato stuff?
do. IMDb is giving this a 7.4.
All
So
right,
the
so right there
IMDb
in line.
The Rotten Tomatoes, hey, we got two scores for it. The tomato meter, the critics give it a 90%. The critics love it. And the audience is right there with them at an 88%. So this is one of the few I can say that it looks like critics and audience both agree on.
There you go. And everybody can agree that KOR-DRATH Volume 2, The Awakening, is the must-have book of the year. Coming out next year. Getting print quotes now. Stuff is in the production pipeline. I'm inking the last page today. Guys, go check it out. If you like Conan, Dungeons and Dragons, Game of Thrones, you will love KOR-DRATH, The Awakening, fantasy at its best. KOR-DRATH and Adriana are back to fight the evils of Vordoom and defend the Black Eagles tribe. That is her tribe. Multiple covers to choose from. Lots of great stuff on this campaign, guys. The link is in the description below. So click on it, take your time, browse it, get yourself a beanie. The cold weather is here. Pick up the featured tier, the catch-up tier with the new Budroot cover on KOR-DRATH, The Reckoning, and get The Awakening as well. And thank you guys very much. On the news front for the DNA show, it just so happens Christmas Day and New Year's Day fall on Wednesday when we do our show. And I know Dennis was begging me, we need to keep doing it because, let's be honest, he's a little lonely on those 2 days. I was like, no, Dennis, I actually have priorities. The birth of Jesus, Dennis. I'm not doing a show on that day. Good
It's
Lord.
called sitting under a weighted blanket and reading comic books. I hear what you've got going on.
Yeah, I hear a little jealousy in your voice. So we will be back on January 8th, that Wednesday, for the first DNA show of the year. And next week, we will be dropping a review of something we're watching on Netflix. So check that out as well. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, and sharing, joining us over these past few years. And we sincerely would not be doing this without you guys and your support. So thank you. Have a great Christmas, New Year, holiday, whatever you celebrate. Be safe, have fun, spend it with family, and we'll see you guys in 2025.
That's right.
Woo!
Live long and prosper. Merry Christmas, everybody. See you
There
next
you
year.
go. Oh, yeah. And go Cowboys.